Wedding Shenanigans Part 2. The next few months were a whirlwind. I hired another wedding planner named Kate Simmons. She was an old friend of mine who was the best wedding planner ever. She had taken me under her wing when I was just an 18-year-old boy who was lost in the city. I had a dream but not much support. My dad had left me when I was 3 years old, and my mom worked 2 jobs to support me and my younger sister Janie. After I had completed high school, I had told my mom I wanted to be a wedding planner and she supported me. She had given me all of her savings and I had moved to the city and started my small business. Unfortunately, I failed. I was young, inexperienced, and naive. I made a lot of bad decisions that landed me in debt. Within a year, I was couch surfing and running away from my debtors. I felt that I had reached rock bottom. I had come to the city with big dreams about starting my wedding planning empire. And here I was, wondering what would kill me first between hunger and debt collectors. They do not tell you this at school, but the real world is much more cutthroat than you would think. You would expect that everyone would be lining up to help you achieve your dreams, that people would be willing to see through the grime and realize just how talented you are. But all of that is just lies. The real world is not fair. It is full of vultures and sharks. It will eat you up and spit you out. You would be lucky to get out alive. That is what I learned that year. I was at rock bottom, living each day like it was my last. Any sensible person would call it a day and head home at that point. But I could not bear to show my mother the failure I had become. I could not let her welcome me back with warm arms after I had gambled away her savings. So I lay in that filth that was my existence and I spun myself into madness. That was when I met Kate Simmons. I had managed to scrape up some luck and get a small gig as a waiter at a wedding. It was pretty easy work for a good pay, so I had jumped at the chance. I was carrying the drinks to the guests when I overheard a conversation. "Oh my, I have no idea what we're going to do. We need that wine as soon as possible. The bride holds sentimental value to it because it was her father's favorite wine. If we do not get it, then we are very much doomed," a dark-haired man said as he was speaking to a blonde woman who appeared to be in her mid-30s. "I know, I have tried all of my contacts, but no one is delivering wine at this time of the day. Remember that it is a public holiday?" she sighed, running a hand through her hair. This conversation piqued my interest, and an idea suddenly formed in my mind. "Hi, sorry to eavesdrop, but I cannot help overhearing that you need some wine delivered?" I asked. "Yes, it's an emergency," the lady said. "I know someone who can help. Just let me know the brand you need and it should be here within 30 minutes, I said. "Oh my word, if you could do that, then I will kiss the ground you walk on," the lady gushed. "No need to do that, ma'am. I just want to help you," I bowed. I then delivered the drinks, then made a call to my friend Barry, who owned a brewery. He and I worked together during my brief stint planning weddings. He had the wine in stock, and because we were friends, he was willing to make the drive and deliver the wine himself. Within 30 minutes, the wine was delivered, and the wedding continued without a hitch. After the wedding, I stayed to help clean up, since that meant I would get paid extra. Suddenly, someone tapped me on the shoulder. I turned around and saw that it was the woman from earlier. "Sorry I did not get a chance to thank you a bit earlier. You saved the wedding. My name is Kate Simmons," she said, holding out her hand for me to shake. "It is nice to meet you, Miss Simmons, and really, it was my pleasure." "I know how stressful it is to plan a wedding," I said. "Do you work at weddings often then?" she asked. "Yes, but not as a waiter. I had a brief stint as a planner, but that fell through," I sighed. "Really? You seem to have the calling. Why did you stop?" She furrowed her eyebrows. "Just had a bit of a bad luck. Lack of experience, mismanagement of funds, bad luck. The list goes on and on." I half smiled with no emotion. "Well, you were in luck. If you are ever interested in working with me, here's my card. I can mentor you for however long you want. I cannot see you waste your talent like that," she said. That is how I met the woman who changed my life. I worked for her for a few years, and during that time, she taught me all the tricks in the book. She taught me how to manage my finances, how to build a good relationships with suppliers, and how to solve every problem that can be thrown at you. Soon, I knew enough to start up again on my own. It took me a while, but soon I was a well-respected planner. I was finally able to pay my mother back, and I was making enough to send home every month. This was all because of a woman who decided to take a chance on a deadbeat young man lost in the city. So here we are, 10 years later, planning my wedding to the man that I love. It was the most stressful, yet rewarding time of my life. It was not easy pulling in late nights, turning red while shouting at the phone for hours at a time, but it was worth it. What made it better was that Kat was there to help me. She was my fairy godmother, to be honest. A week before our wedding, she kicked me off the wedding planning committee because she needed me to rest. You cannot have bags under your eyes on your wedding day, and neither can you faint from exhaustion at the altar. We need you to be fresh-faced, she had chastened me. I had tried to protest, but she was having none of that, so then I was kicked off my own wedding planning committee. During that week, I concentrated on resting and preparing. I ate a lot of healthy foods and avoided all junk food because I wanted to fit in my suit, and I also wanted to have a clear face. I worked out a lot and visited the spa with my future husband several times. That bore of a man protested all the way there, but I was not going to compromise on our day. I knew that he would protest all he wanted, but he always showed up for me. He had also designed both our suits, but he refused to show me. I had retaliated by refusing to show him how our decor would look. The man did not budge no matter how much I begged and threatened. Finally, the day arrived. When I woke up in my hotel room that morning, I was very excited. I could hardly sit normally. I bounced up and down my bed as I thought of what was going to come. I lay there in my bed for a moment, reflecting on the past 5 years. We had met during a wedding we had both been hired for. He had been friendly and a gentleman, and that drew me to him. I had taken a chance and flirted with him, but that flew over his head. He could not take my hints, and I had to get his number from his assistant. I had proceeded to text him and had blatantly asked him to go out on a date with me. To my surprise, he had agreed, and the rest was history. We seemed like an unlikely match, I with my fire and loudness, and him with his calm and serene persona. But we complemented each other very well. We were each other's strength through anything that may befall us. I got up from bed and suddenly there was a knock on the door. It was my makeup artist, some of my friends, and my hairstylists. For the next few hours, I was buried in fabric, makeup brushed in glitter. Where did that come from? They finally finished and my assistant led me to the full-length mirror. I had opted for a natural makeup look with just some skin makeup to enhance my skin and light mascara to show off my green eyes. My hair was freshly highlighted and styled in a cute side part. The thing that took my breath the most was my suit. It was a pale baby blue with some silver embroidery on the collar and sleeve. I was glad that Charlie had delayed showing it to me because it was truly worth the wait. The surprise was worth the begging and pleading I had done that had fallen on deaf ears. I felt my eyes stinging a bit and a tear slid down my cheek. Oh no, come on bro, do not cry just yet. You have not even seen your groom yet, my sister Janie said, hugging me. I sniffed a bit more, but I dried my eyes soon enough as I imagined how I would look like a panda if my mascara were to be ruined. Elise, Charlie's cousin, popped in to tell us that it was time. I felt my heart spike as I broke out in nerves. This was it. This was the day that would change my life. I walked out into the hall and I saw my best man James standing there. He smiled when he saw me, and he hugged me till I had no movement left in my body because he was squeezing me so tightly. We got into the limo and we drove to the wedding venue. It was at a nature reserve that was not too far from the hotel. I shakingly got out of the car and made my way over to where the wedding party was gathered. There was a red carpet rolled over to walk on. I walked down it as mine and Charlie's song began playing, which was Heart by Demi Lovato. My mother held onto my arm as we walked down the aisle. The setup was so gorgeous. Until now, I had only seen the examples of how it would look in drawings and mood boards, but it was truly a vision to behold. There were clear glass chairs on either side of the aisle. The altar was a heart, made up of our favorite flowers. I could spend the whole day describing how it looked, but that paled in comparison to how the love of my life looked. His long dark hair was pulled into a ponytail and he was wearing silver studs. He was freshly shaven and he was wearing his suit. He was the replica of mine, but the colors were black with silver embroidered on the sleeves and collar. Right there, he was a diamond. Everything else faded to black and white, and all that I could see was him. He shone brighter than anyone else on that day. I walked towards him, gravitated towards him. Our hearts were connected and souls were intertwined. It was like everything was happening in slow motion. I was in front of him soon enough. We locked eyes, and it was as if it was the first time that we were seeing each other for the first time. The wedding officiator did all the things that were required, and soon it was the time for our vows. Charlie went first. When we met, I could not believe that someone so bright and radiant was speaking to me. You always joked that I was a brick wall when you were flirting, but that is not true. I was so nervous I could not even make a move on you. You surprised me so much when you texted me, and I thanked my lucky stars. You have made me the man I am today. I owe it to you that I am standing here today. You helped me to battle my drug addiction. You stood by me when I pushed you away because I wanted to wallow in self-pity. You never gave up on our love, and you pulled me from the dark abyss that was my sadness. I have found myself in you, for you are my counterpart. I cannot wait to spend the rest of my life with you. I love you so much, he said. Everyone gushed at his beautiful words, and my heart completely melted into a puddle on the floor. I don't think I have ever heard you say so many words all at once. Everyone laughed. No words can explain how I feel right now. I have always gravitated towards you because of your goodness. Your honor and integrity are the most special things in you. You calm my storms and you fight my battles even when I don't ask you to. You taught me patience and the truth about love. You, your essence and being are like oxygen to me. I want to hold your hand till I pass to the afterlife and continue holding it in the next life. I love you so much. I now pronounce you married. You may kiss, the officiator said. I then kissed my husband. Husband. I do not think that I will ever get tired of that word. I wanted to scream from the tallest rooftop that I had a husband. He was mine forever and ever. We were bound by so much more than the law. We were bound by destiny. The kiss felt like our first kiss, and in a way, it was. It was like taking a breath of fresh air after being submerged in water. We broke our kiss, and the audience burst into a round of applause. After that, we did the usual wedding things. We had our first dance as a married couple. We danced to a very hip song called Dance Monkey. Neither of us was a good dancer, but the point was that we were having fun. After all the dancing, it was now time to cut the cake. We had a 4-tier cake made with vanilla and caramel as the flavors because they were our favorite flavors. We cut the cake, then fed each other, and then the guests got their pieces. It was very delicious and worth every penny. We then ate some food, but I could hardly finish mine because I was too excited. While we ate, the guests did their speeches. Everyone gave heartfelt and supportive speeches. We were also given good marriage advice by the older people that I was certain was going to come in handy one of those days. The speech that I held dearest to my heart was that of my dearest mother. When my dear son Danny was a young boy, he always loved weddings. He used to keep scrapbooks filled with themes and celebrity weddings. I saw early on that he was gifted. Maybe I'm just being a typical mother by saying this, but my boy was special. I'm so happy that today he is at his own wedding to the man that he loves. Charles, you have always treated our family as your own, and I am so happy that you got married to my son. May you both be blessed with many more years of marriage, she finished. I felt tears roll down my eyes as she spoke. My dad was deadbeat and I would never go looking for him because my mom was everything that I needed. I was truly and utterly blessed to have her in my life. After all the speeches, I finally got a chance to speak to Kate. Hey you two, she said as she gave us a massive hug. Hey, where have you been? I've been meaning to talk to you, I said. Just been around. A wedding planner's job is never finished, she winked. Her blue eyes twinkled with joy. We wanted to thank you for making this day so special for us. We can never forget what you have done for us, Charlie said. Oh, it's nothing. You two are like my own sons. You both deserve a top-tier wedding. The past few years have not been easy for the either of you, but you made it work," she said. We proceeded to talk about other stuff until she was pulled away for another emergency. Later on, we all left the venue to go to the after party before we went to our honeymoon. Everyone loosened up and there was a lot of dancing and chatter. We received a lot of wedding gifts as well from our friends and family. I think it would be safe to say that it was the best night ever. After that, everyone saw us off as the limo drove us to the airport to board our flight to Mauritius. Soon we were up in the air, both physically and emotionally, as we headed to our holiday. To be continued. Thanks for watching. Consider subscribing to become a part of our Rainbow Force. And stay wholesome.